The Journey to Self-Compassion. Isabel sat alone on a park bench, watching the world bustle around her. Children laughed as they chased bubbles, couples strolled hand in hand, and cyclists zipped by with purpose. She felt like an outsider looking in, a shadow amid the vibrant tapestry of life. A weight pressed upon her chest, a persistent feeling that she didn't deserve the happiness others seemed to effortlessly enjoy. Her mind replayed past mistakes and perceived failures on an endless loop. She had pushed away friends, avoided family gatherings, and retreated into solitude. Every morning, the mirror reflected a face she struggled to recognize, let alone love. One rainy afternoon, seeking shelter, Isabel wandered into a small, cozy bookstore. She hadn't noticed this one before, but the scent of old pages and brewed coffee enveloped her. As she browsed aimlessly, a book tumbled off the shelf and landed at her feet. Picking it up, she read the title, Embracing Yourself, a guide to self-love and acceptance. Curiosity sparked, and she opened it to a random page. And the page read, "You are worthy of love, even when you believe you aren't. Loving yourself is not about perfection, it's about acceptance." The words resonated, stirring something deep within her. Despite a voice telling her she didn't deserve it, she purchased the book and headed home. That evening, Isabel began to read. The author spoke of self-compassion, forgiving oneself, and the radical act of accepting imperfections. It felt foreign, yet oddly comforting. The first exercise suggested writing a letter to oneself, expressing kindness and understanding. She hesitated. The idea of being gentle with herself seemed almost impossible, but with a shaky hand, she began. Dear Isabel, I know you're struggling and that you've been hard on yourself, but everyone makes mistakes. You are human, and it's okay to forgive yourself. Tears blurred the ink as she poured out her feelings. For the first time in months, she allowed herself to acknowledge her pain without judgment. In the days that followed, Isabel committed to small acts of self-kindness. She started taking morning walks and appreciating the sunrise. She revisited hobbies she once loved, like sketching and playing the piano. Each step was met with resistance from that inner critic, but she persisted. One day, while sitting at a cafe, she overheard a conversation at the next table. A woman was sharing her own journey of overcoming self-doubt and learning to love herself. Summoning courage, Isabel joined the conversation. The woman, Lena, welcomed her warmly. They shared stories, realizing they weren't alone in their struggles. Through this new friendship, Isabel found support and understanding. Lena invited her to a weekly support group where people openly discuss their challenges and victories in self-love. Surrounded by empathy and without judgment, Isabel's walls began to crumble. She learned that self-love isn't about arrogance or ignoring one's flaws. It's about recognizing one's own inherent worth despite imperfections. By showing herself compassion, she became more open to receiving love from others. Months later, Isabel stood in front of a group at the support meeting. I used to believe I wasn't deserving of love, she shared, but I've learned that loving myself is the foundation for everything else in my life. It's not always easy, but it's worth it. Her journey wasn't about a dramatic transformation, but a series of small, courageous choices to treat herself with kindness. Isabel realized that even when she didn't think she deserved love. Embracing herself was the key to healing and connecting with the world around her. Isabel's story illustrates that self-love is possible, even in moments of deep self-doubt. By taking gradual steps towards self-compassion, she discovered her worthiness was never lost, but just instead overlooked. Loving oneself isn't reserved for the flawless. It's a gift everyone deserves, especially when they feel least deserving.